set? Alrighty.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here today. I can't even begin to describe to you how much it means that all of you took the time to come over and do this today. It's pretty surreal. I can't even believe that we're here right now with the airplane sitting in front of the hangar.
Take it up again. Let's go.
I would love to, trust me.
We're gonna fix fuel bill.
So anyway, yeah, this, many of you guys don't know the story. I accidentally drove by this airplane about 4 years ago on my way home from Indianapolis. I was coming back from ground school at work and got sick and tired of being on the highway and decided to start taking back roads to Pittsburgh, and lo and behold, I came around the bend and there's this DC-3 sitting in the middle of a field in Ohio. And I couldn't believe that that was even possible in the 2015, 2016, but lo and behold, there it was. So I walked around it and it looked pitiful. It was bad, and but I kind of knew right away that it could be saved. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be able to afford one that's finished and done and pay a couple $1 million for it. But if we get one that's in really bad shape and put all the effort and time and work into it, we can make it happen. And my motivation for that was Tim Chope, who isn't here right now, but I've been flying DC-4 with Tim since I was a teenager. And Tim always used to say, making a 4-engine DC-4 fly is something special. Any idiot can fly a DC-3. So I figured that's a pretty good, bar to set for myself, that if an idiot can do it, then I should be able to at least have a running start at this. But with all that experience and all the people I have in my life that are aviation people, and it was really a combination of the right people at the right time. And it never ceased to amaze me that once we got this set up, the nonprofit, which I got from start to finish in 3 months, with the IRS and the government approving it and everything, which was fun. We got it approved, and then we started fundraising the $100,000 that we needed to buy the airplane. I put $20,000 of my own money down to hold it. And I had 1 year to come up with $80,000, or we lost the airplane and I lost my $20,000. And the pressure was on. So we started fundraising, and 11 months? 1 month ago, we came up with the $80,000. and we bought the airplane. And
That was a great day.
once the airplane was officially ours, we started working on it full tilt. And I personally, and most everyone else that's here with the C-53 shirts on that you see, have been out in Ohio 2 days a week for 2.5 years straight. Every week. I put almost 55,000 miles on my truck driving from Pittsburgh to Ohio to make this thing work. But I always knew it could be done. And the only thing that ever holds you back from anything in life that you want to go after is yourself. And it was the scariest, most overwhelming thing I've ever looked at in my life. But Bruce Ballo said it best when, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's basically what we did. We broke this project down into 20-some small projects, and we just, one by one, went through the checklist. And every milestone we made sure we put on social media so everyone could see it. And it has been a dream come true for me. I used to build models of DC-3s when I was a kid. And getting a little choked up, sorry. Never thought in my life that I'd have one by the time I was 34. But I always wanted to save a Warbird, and I just wanted somebody to give me a chance. And I never did. I went to every museum in the area asking if I could help out. Nobody would give me the time of day because I was just a stupid kid. I bet you they're kicking themselves in the ass right now because I could have done wonders for them. But there she is. And that's our airplane, and I'm really proud of her. And what I really like about this airport and the people that we have with our organization and the EAA chapter here at Franklin is that we assume nothing and we are welcoming everybody. I will never, ever, as long as I'm running Vintage Wings and we have that airplane, turn anybody away who wants to help. I don't care if you don't know anything about airplanes. Our job is to teach. And that's what the EAA is really good with. And I'm proud to partner with them. So whether you want to sweep the floor or wipe the airplane down, or if you know how to bend sheet metal, which we greatly appreciate if there's anyone here that knows how to do that, you're welcome. And if you don't know, we're going to teach you, because that's what we do. Aviation will only continue if we keep passing that torch on to the next generation. And people complain all the time that no one's getting into flying. There's a pilot shortage right now. Nobody wants to get in aviation. It's because people for years have turned people away from it. You know, after September 11th, you couldn't take pictures in the cockpit. You have to close the door when we fly at work now. And everything out there deters anyone from wanting to get involved with this. That's why stuff like this is so important to continue aviation as a whole. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you for supporting us. This is just the beginning of something great. And now the fun's going to begin. And I'm giving us 1.5 to 2 years for that thing to be completely finished. And we'll start doing air shows with her. But she's going to be amazing when she's done. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to introduce Tim Nelson here real quick. He's one of my vice presidents. He's going to say a word or two. And then I'd also like to introduce real quick these two gentlemen sitting here. If you haven't had a chance to meet them yet, this is Steve and John Flacco. Their dad was the original radio operator in that airplane in World War II. And the reason we found them, when we were looking for records on the airplane, the United States Air Force keeps an inventory of all the accidents that it's had with all the Air Force aircraft. In May of 1944, that airplane was going to Cairo, Egypt, with 3 Air Force personnel on board and 1 very special British personnel, which still to this day was classified. So we think it was either General Montgomery or Winston Churchill himself, because it still wouldn't say who he was. But anyway, they were coming in to land. They realized they were nose heavy, and the captain, for God knows what reason, made himself, their dad, John, and the passenger go sit in the tail of the airplane to try and balance it out while the co-pilot landed. And unfortunately, on touchdown, he locked the right brake up, blew the tire out, and the airplane went up on its nose, and the tail was sticking straight in the air as it went off the runway. And it was because of that accident report, and we actually have pictures of that, that we were able to get on Facebook and social media and track these guys down as the living heirs to their dad. And when we told them that we had their dad's airplane and we were restoring it, well, we've been in contact since. And it's my honor to do that for your dad. And it's people like your dad that made what we have here possible today. He's one of the heroes of that generation that I don't think will ever be duplicated. So thank you for your dad's sacrifice, and I'm honored to have you guys here today. And on that note, let me give it a quick.
All right, so since I got thrown into this and didn't know about it, Hi, I'm Tim Nelson. I'm one of the vice presidents of this glorious organization of Vintage Wings. I guess to start things off, since most of you may not know me or may haven't seen me, I met Jason a long time ago, a couple years ago, through Instagram of all things. Just the love for aviation and the love of pictures. And then he kind of roped me into working with Berlin Airlift. Since I'm in Indiana and I have a lot of crew chief background and working on airplanes through the Air Force, started working with Berlin in Indiana. But unfortunately they stopped going to Indiana and I was kind of left with nothing to do along with Warbirds. One day he gives me a call many moons ago. Hey, you remember that dream I had a while back? What, about owning a Warbird? Yeah, I found one. Good, let me know what I need to do. And ever since then I've been hunting down parts. He gives me a question, hey, what's this about, where's this at, go find this, do what I can, where I can. And I'll tell you what, trying to find a picture of this thing in the war is next to impossible. I've been to the National Archives, I've been to, where's it, Maxwell. Haven't been down there, but I've been in contact with Maxwell where they keep all the service records from World War II down there, and that's where we found the incident report. And then, what was it, 2 months ago? We finally found out that she actually has a storied history. There's a bunch of famous photographs from World War II with the C-53 with the framework that says Northeast Airlines on the side of it, and with the tail flash that has 12009 on it. Through a process, we determined that that is our aircraft. If you look at it, there's a little chunk of a 5, and what we think what happened is that during one of its 100-hour inspections or 150-hour inspections, they put the ice boots on it. And in that process, that last chunk of 5, the panel got replaced when they never painted it on because, well, it's wartime, it's fresh into service. So basically, this plane right here did a lot. She was one of the proving aircraft for the northern routes to go to England, which at that time shortened the route. Because how they used to ferry supplies, goods, troops to the European theater, they would go south, go through South America, over to Ascension Island, and up through Africa. This way, cut it down days, hours. And if you got to imagine in the wartime, that was a key role in helping us win the war. Trying to think of something else that's going on. But I'm relieved she's here. I've already had my bit of crying when I first got here, ran into the plane like Jason's. It is such a relief to see her here because, I mean, everything we've been through. I mean, all the hours we put into her, everything that's happened, good and bad. But she's here now. And I know with this group, there's going to be a lot of good coming out of this. So, that being said, let's move on. 2 feet in, guys.
All right, guys, thank you. John, you want to come up, take something real quick?
First off, I'm speechless with Jason and everybody with these C-53 shows. To see something like that I was involved with 70 years ago, and you guys are bringing it back to life. I can't thank you all enough. That's all I can say. I can't thank you all enough. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure, John. Thank you. We have a duty to do.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much all we have to say. I just, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank all of you for being here. If you haven't gotten it, there's food, drinks. All this stuff over here is from the radio compartment of the C-53. The original radio compartment was ripped out back in the 50s when it was an airliner, and we're going to be restoring it back to the way it looked when Mr. Flatico sat there in 1943, 1944. But those are the original radios that would have been in the airplane, and that's the navigator or the radio operator's chair that he sat in. And that's a picture of Sergeant Flatico there in front of it. So all the original equipment will be put back in originally, or eventually, and we're going to fully restore that compartment in honor of their dad. So we're still trying to find the 2 pilots. I've been on Facebook for a year and a half trying to locate any living family members of theirs. and we've been unsuccessful. So we're going to keep trying on that. And my goal is to get the original crew, all their family members together because of this airplane. So it's the least I can do for that generation. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Enjoy your day. We got hats for sale and stuff over here.
Can you just tell us what it was like rolling down the runway for the first time, and the low pass, and a little bit about the flight?
Sure.
Because that's what we all really want to hear about.
Yeah. What's that? No shirts. Just hats. I'm sorry. But yeah, so the flight was pretty good. Like I said, Ian was our captain for the flight, and I was honored to get to fly with you. 5,000 hours of DC-3 time under his belt. And he still flies them every day for a living out of Florida, delivering missionary flights down to the Caribbean and the islands, delivering goods on behalf of the Christian Church. So I think God was on our side today because of you, because God knows he wasn't helping me out. But appreciate having you with us. Well, like I said, the takeoff out of Beach City was pretty good. When we were doing our engine run-up, we sank into the ground a good 5 or 6 inches, and took a little bit of juice to get her to move. But we decided kind of on the roll there that we were going to have to just gun it and go. And I'm glad we did, because I think we would have sank into the mud even more. But that, I don't know. I'm sorry, Kim, that's kind of a blur. It was just, one big blur from pushing the power up to the time the gear came in the well. And we heard a loud pop on takeoff, and Ian and I both kind of thought maybe one of the engines burped, and ended up being a bird. We have a massive dent in the tail right now from a buzzard or something that we cracked on takeoff, which is now going to have to be fixed, Jerry. Or, yep, but yeah, it was, I don't know, like I said, the low pass in Beach City was amazing. That was actually all Ian on that one. That was a beautiful job, and he made it look real easy. And once we got up in the air and started on our way here, Ian looked at me and said, "Your controls." And I got to fly the airplane for the first time, which was awesome. But it was like a dream come true. It was surreal. I kept looking out the window at that big radial engine out there purring away, and everything was doing what it was supposed to be, which was scary. And it flew perfectly the whole way over here, just skimming the clouds, and it was just Ian and I talking, and it was the airplane. It was perfect. So and then coming in here, I had to do a little pass for you guys. So I wanted to let you know we were all here. And then the landing was pretty good. Ian had a nice cross when he took over the controls again for the landing, and did a beautiful job getting it down and stopped on the runway here. But yeah, for not having flown in 25 plus years, she did just fine. So I'd love to get back in it right now and go up again. But I don't think the FAA is going to like that very much. So. But anyway, yeah, it was an absolute joy to fly. So, and thank you guys for coming over here. I got to say, Kim and Bill here, Bill has we call it Aircraft Spruce East, which is the parts supply company that we buy all our hardware from the airplane. And Bill has probably one of the most amazing collections of hardware for an airplane I've ever seen in my life. His hangar is literally one wall of nuts, bolts, screws, you name it. And anytime we needed anything, he told us, "You guys come on down and help yourselves." Boy, did you save our bacon multiple times. So thank you for everything you did. I really appreciate it.
Kim and I took off right behind you. I about died when we made the turn onto the runway. You can't believe the ruts.
I've seen it from the air.
I imagine I'll be getting a phone call over that one.
I told you last night what to do. Smile and hang up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Bill.
Jason, I just got a phone call from a farmer who's the dead goose is on the right.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. At least these things are built better than an Airbus. So, but yeah, so like I said, I'm going to give Uncle Jim the microphone here for a second, and we'll go from there. But seriously, thank you guys so much. These Coke bottles that are on your table, those are for each one of you guys. That was a gift from us to you, just something to kind of remember the day. And God, if we could only rewind the clock to 70 years ago, huh? Good Lord. Everything seemed right back then. But anyway, we're trying to save a little piece of history, and And that wouldn't be possible with everyone, without anyone here. So thank you guys again for everything today.
Since the airplane is here now, one of the important people to our community as far as history goes is Bob Billingsley, and I would like him to come up and stress a little bit the importance of having it here. We are so happy that it is here. The people that manage the airport here could not have been better about getting it here. I was in on the meeting. Why I was there, I had no idea. But anyway, I sat in on the meeting with the airport manager. They couldn't have been better about it, which is really hard to come by this day and age. When we left the meeting, Jason said to me, he sees the vision, so, which I thought was super nice. And I think the city of Franklin, the county airport, we all see the vision, and I hope to carry that forward. But here's Bob Billingsley.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations to your club and all your volunteers. I know a little bit about that, Jason. I had to raise over $100,000 too. But youth has its advantages. You've done it in a year. I've been at it 5 years. So, yes. I am involved in, for those of you who know me, I retired a few years ago, and I've always liked history. I remember in the 5th grade of hearing about the Battle of Gettysburg and mentally moving myself to that battle at that time. And since I've retired, I've done a lot of work on history in this area. I'm an infantryman, not an Air Force guy, but I met your uncle. I met your uncle at the Monument Works a year or so ago. When I was there, we're doing a World War I monument in Franklin. There'll be a big celebration on the 11th of November, the 100th anniversary of the signing of the armistice. And there are some things in parallel with me and you, only you have youth and I don't. So my efforts have to be done relatively soon. You still have a few years to get yours accomplished. If we think of merchants, one of the big things that merchants do are advertise sales and all that to get people in their store. And if we go with that theory, this plane and the plane they're working on over there and any future plane will obviously get people to this airport. And if you go with the merchant's theory, if you get them in the airport, you get them to do more than just the sale they came for. Hopefully, for years we've struggled to keep the amount of passengers we need to keep the commercial flights going. So hopefully all these things work together and we'll get some more passengers to help with the commercial flights. Obviously I look at it from history, and I can't wait to start including the history of your plane, which I feel is phenomenal because this area has a phenomenal history. We have 3 generals of the Civil War that were born and raised in Franklin, which few people know about. And the reason I got into history is because people don't know our heroes and our past that we take advantage of today from what they've done. And that's the reason I've got into history, is to try and raise the level of the local population to what happened in the past. This plane will help do that, obviously. And with the history, the great history this plane has, it'll fit in. It will also benefit the county. We have the bicycle trail. We have the train in Oil City. We start getting old planes up here at the airport. Tomorrow downtown there'll be like 500 antique automobiles. It would be very, very nice to have the planes included with all those activities. And I thank you for doing that. I don't want to take a lot of your time. So just let me say thank you to the club, and thank you to the people that volunteer. I'm well aware of what that involves. Thank you.
All right. guys, again, thank you very much for being here. Help yourselves with the food. And if anybody wants to go out to the airplane and stuff and take a look at it, just come and find someone with a C-53 shirt on, and we'll be happy to do that for you. Thanks again.